I have proof that family members have been to that rental house before. I've been with David and Celeste.
Wait, her
Older,
family has been to his
family,
house?
family members.
Now, this right here is the same vehicle that Celeste was found in. The exact same vehicles. That's him getting out the vehicle and walking up to pay the kid. Supposedly, he gave the kid $1,000. PDF file. From what I've heard, my sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader. Let's call her C. Now, at this time, this is when the body was first found in the front, and we didn't know it was Celeste. So there is evidence that David was actually being investigated before all of this went down. Not only that, the police picked up Celeste from his house once before all this went down, when she first was reported missing. Now, I do know, even from my prior videos, that she was reported missing more than once, but I did not know that the police actually picked her up from his house before. Did everybody in her life fail her, the police and the parents? Plus, we're going to get into some more info. Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. And what we do here is we take a look at cases, cases of missing individuals, true crime, any case that might need a spotlight. And then what we do is we look at these cases with a different lens, or we dig deeper into the case, okay? Because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself. I ran for 15 years, lived in different countries under different names, hence the name Fugitive TV. Did all that after I committed some white collar crime and eventually turned myself in. Now I own multiple businesses. I have this YouTube channel. I help inspire others that, hey, if I could do it, you can too. I help locate missing individuals for family members, or I help locate people that need to be brought to justice. Well, if you guys have been following me, you know I've been on the David case from day one. From the day one they found Celeste, I've been on this case and I've been doing it nonstop. You know I've been trying to be the voice for this girl. Now, if you don't know anything about this case, or you're new to the channel, whatever, I will tell you real quick. Celeste, okay, Celeste Rivas was 14 years old. She was found inside of the front part of a Tesla, what is called the frunk. Now, this was back in September of last year. All right. The car was impounded, and during impound, they noticed the odor. They called police. Police opened the front, and they found Celeste inside the front. Now, when they found her inside the front, she was in two separate bags. The first bag contained her head and torso. The second bag was her limbs, and even her limbs were chopped up in pieces. Now, what made this case even, like, I guess, out of the ordinary was the Tesla belonged to a famous singer named David. Okay, famous singer named David. His music is all over YouTube, all over Fortnite, the video game, all over a lot of places. Well, used to be. Now they're taking a lot of it down. His YouTube channel just got demonetized. Fortnite's taking all his stuff down. So people are actually, or these companies are actually taking all of his stuff down now. David has been arrested, but he only got arrested. What was it, you guys? What, a week ago? 2 weeks ago? He just got arrested. Even though this happened last September 2025, he just got arrested. So that's just a quick breakdown of the story, just in case you guys don't know. Now, the last video I did, I went over the cause of death because it officially came out. Nobody knew exactly what happened. So now they're saying the cause of death is because of two wounds punctured with a sharp object, pretty much a knife. They're saying in her chest. Then, of course, she was dismembered too. I went through the whole medical report, autopsy, which was very disturbing because when they found her, very disturbing. When they found her, she was decomposing so bad that they said her skull was, partially skeletized, and she was missing an eye. It was bad. What made it even more disturbing was she had two fingers cut off that they never found. Okay, her ring finger and pinky finger. Both these two fingers were cut and never found. One reason why is because on this finger right here, in the inside of the finger, she actually had the tattoo of David. And we know she had that tattoo because of two reasons. She had a picture. She took a picture of a ring, like an engagement ring, that has David on the side. And not only that, her mother even confirmed that she was dating an individual named David and came back with the tattoo. So that's how we know that she had this tattoo on her finger. So we don't know if the sicko took the finger as a prize, or he tried to do something with it to, disconnect himself from the crime. But those two fingers are missing. So I'm not going to go into the full details of the autopsy report. If you want, like I said, I read the whole report. You can check out my prior video on David, because that's what I did. Well, in my other videos of David, when this first happened, I ended up getting into contact with a neighbor who was down the street. Now, the reason why I contacted this neighbor was because there was not videos, but I should say evidence of David paying people off. Some kid actually recorded David paying another kid off that's only right around the corner from where Celeste lives. And David lived about an hour away. He lived in Hollywood Hills. So why would David be in Celeste's neighborhood, hanging with these kids? These kids allegedly went to the same school as Celeste. Everybody knew that Celeste was hanging out with David. Even Celeste's teacher knew. There's a prior video about him talking about how Celeste was in her classroom and she ended up being with David. So everybody knew it was an open secret. And the neighbor even told me that they used to see the Tesla come to the house. They said that everybody knew, even on the street. They said that the family was receiving benefits. They put benefits, okay? That David would take them to parties, and then all kind of things. Now there is pictures with Celeste holding items of gifts, okay, which I'm going to show you. Now, the reason for this video is because we all know David's arrested now, okay? And there's some things that's probably going to come out in court that some people are not going to like, all right? For one, before we get into the family of Celeste, let's get into this. David was already being investigated. I didn't know he was being investigated. A lot of us didn't know. Now, could this investigation went faster and maybe saved Celeste's life? I'll let you decide. Now, see, Celeste, when she was with David, if you don't know, when she was actually with David, Celeste was reported missing. Now, remember, she was 14 years old. Her parents had her reported missing, okay? But she really wasn't missing. She was really with David, okay? So they reported her missing April of 2024. You gotta remember, Celeste was found in September of 2025 in his front. So a year and a half later, okay, from when they had her reported her missing, all right? Now, in between 2024 of April to September 2025, there's video evidence, okay, of Celeste being back at the home. There was a party of her being at, or a video of her being at the home with a family celebration. There's another video of her arguing with a neighbor during that time. There's also a picture of Celeste attending her cousin's graduation. So she wasn't missing, guys. On paper, she was missing, but not in real life. Now, you might ask yourself, if she wasn't missing, well, why didn't they tell, the police, oh, she's not missing or whatever? Well, here's the thing. Most likely, so the police and schools would get off the family member's back. Because think about it, she's only 14, okay? When they found her anyway. When they found her. You gotta remember, she was only 14. But when she went missing, she was 13, okay? 13 years old, pretty much just turned 13. If your child does not show up to school, especially in certain states, this happens in California, the school is going to call. The school is going to notify Child Protective Services. Now, if you guys followed the Melody Buzzard case and Ashley Buzzard, Melody was the young woman who went missing. Girl, I don't remember her age. I think she was 12 years old too, maybe 12. She went missing, and remember her mom was in the house the whole time, and people were like outside her house, where's Melody? Where's Melody? And they ended up finding Melody later on in a mountain of Utah, I think it was, if I remember correctly. Well, the whole reason that case got national publicity was because the school was like, hey, where's Melody? She hasn't been coming to school. So the school got involved. But if you have your child missing, reported missing, the cops are off your back, the school's off your back, child services are off your back because she's allegedly missing. You don't know where she's at. So all these people are off your back. You get where I'm going? So this might come up in court or play in the court as into why, she was missing for so long, but really not. Now, during this time, like I said, it was an open secret. Everybody knew. Celeste has a brother. He knew. Celeste has a sister. She knew. Now, David, the famous singer, everybody in his camp allegedly knew about this. David's manager knew about this. Okay, so David was living in a rental house in Hollywood. And that house was being rented out not by David, but by David's manager. And then David was living there. Well, Celeste was always in the house. The house also had video cameras all over the house. Okay, so David's manager knew that Celeste would be over that house. And how we all know this, guys, is because she was first reported missing before the April 2024. Like I said, she was reported missing. I think it was January 2024, the first time. They found her at David's house. Cops went to the house, got her from the house, took her back home. Guys, if police take a minor from somebody's house and they bring the minor back to the parents, you don't think the police are going to tell you, hey, your minor was hanging with this person, your minor was with this person, or you think the police is going to drop her off and not say nothing? No, police are supposed to tell, hey, I found your minor over here. That was why the first missing report, went away. Because police found her at David's house and took her back to the parents' house. All right. I didn't know that they found her at David's house. I didn't know this. But that explains why the first report, and then they reported again April 24th. So police made this report, and I guess they handed it over to investigators, things like that. And they also questioned the family members. Now, I don't know what all the family members said, but allegedly the brother of Celeste told the family members, like, yeah, she's been seeing David. All right. Here's actually text messages between Celeste's brother and another person. Now, these text messages have been out for a while, but just in case you haven't seen them, look at this. So this is actually a screen recording from Celeste's brother, okay? A text message going back and forth between Celeste's brother, and this is on Instagram. Now, I did put parts of this message up in prior videos last year when all this happened, but just in case if you missed it, this is what this says. Now, the person messages Matthew, who was Celeste's brother, and says, dude, why does David follow you? All this respect to your sister, and I hate how people are being. Was it really him? Jealous? All love, man. And then he replies back, yes, it was him, because he found my account out of nowhere and followed me. And he goes, well, he has it coming. That's wow, just random. Did you ever talk to him? Then her brother replies back, yeah, I met him once. And then after that, it goes, Did you and your family know of your sister being with him? Like she was living with him. All of this stuff is so confusing and disgusting. The brother replies back, I knew and went to the police about it, but lack of evidence. So it was waived off. Then the person replies back, now that there's 1,000 people backing you up, that won't happen again. But if they had listened, then the brother replies back, even then they don't do anything. They haven't done anything towards him. That's just how it is with celebrities. Just look at, and he goes, F and Diddy. They don't do anything. And then the brother replies back, I know it effing sucks. Then the person replies, crazy people suffer for it. How long has she been gone? Then the brother replies back, dead? 2 weeks. Then the person replies, that soon? People have been saying like a month. Dude's a weirdo. His songs all have weird messages and imaginary. What do you think happened? Like just didn't want her to expose him with her? Then the brother replies back, I don't know. Then the person replies, was your sister like in love with him and choosing to stay? I'm guessing it was all him just manipulating her. So Matthew says, yeah, she was always saying that he was waiting till she was 18 to get married and stuff like that. So then the person replies back, sick, that's crazy. All of those people in his circle who knew and didn't say yes. I saw one guy got sued by him, and I'm sure you would have too if you kept pushing. Then the brother says, dog, what? I never knew that. My sister wouldn't say anything over. He says, dude, there's so much on him, on the Discord he was. Then he goes, what the F? There's a Discord? He goes, yeah, it was just his fan Discord and stuff. I wasn't in it, obviously, but from what I know, he was decently active in it. And some screenshots and screen recordings were posting today and yesterday after the news showed one guy saying this. And then he posted a screenshot from the Discord. And then the Discord says, the one with the missing girl, Celeste Rivas. Then the guy replies back, 95% sure it's legit. Someone who was in the server before it was locked screen recorded them looking up this message and it was edited. Your brother replies back, what WTF? No way, dude. Please send me more if you know, dude. Then the guy goes, I got you, bro. Let me find anything that's been posting for you. That's why I said so many people were after David. Now after this, they have found so much evidence to back this S up. And then the brother says, I never knew that. And then the guy goes, only a small number of people were aware until today. Brother says, I wish I would have known. I could have used this. Then the guy goes, you didn't have your sister added on Discord, right? He goes, I don't even use Discord. Yeah, I was just seeing because someone took a screenshot of her account, apparently. And then somebody screenshots Celeste's Discord. He shows a screenshot of it. Then the guy replies back, this is what I got. And then he shows like some messages on Discord, things of that nature, which, like I said, a lot of these are already, I have them already too. So a lot of these are already been out. Share some pictures. Then he goes, are those photos her? And that song was an unreleased David song, apparently. And he goes, here's the video that's proven those messages are real. And we're going to keep scrolling down. Then he goes, do you know of any of your sister's Instagram accounts? There were some messages people said her messaging friends, but not really confirmed yet. So then these are some messages up there with some messenger and her friends. And they're actually talking about her intimate life with David, which is very disturbing because she's so young. I'm not going to read those messages out because she's young and it's very disturbing. So then he shows some pictures. She's holding, I can tell right there, that's a Louis Vuitton bag. So I don't know if he took her shopping or bought that for her. Another picture. He goes, that's my sister, dog. And then the person replies back, yeah, F it is. Then a person says, do you think all this is real? And the brother says, yeah, I do. I know who Gus is. He's unalived. What happened? And then he goes, he got shot up. So they start talking about this guy named Gus. I guess Gus was somebody that I don't know the full story because Gus is no longer living anymore. But I guess it was some guy that she allegedly was talking to. Now, I don't know if this was around when she was talking to David as well or before David. I don't know. But I know Gus is no longer alive anymore. Then the guy goes, you think by David or just some other stuff? And he goes, some other stuff. And what I mean, everybody knew. This is a post from Reddit. This says this guy is a PDF file. From what I've heard, my sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader. Let's call her C. Now, at this time, this is when the body was first found in the front, and we didn't know it was Celeste. So you got to keep that in mind. And she would go on trips with him to LA. They're all in 9th grade now, and it turns out C's friend knew, and he would pay them to keep their mouth shut. C has been missing for over a month now, and no one knows her whereabouts. Definitely something strange is going on. So once again, this is before they found her in the front, and he's saying that, you know, this girl named C has been missing, and that his sister knows that she's been taking trips to LA and, you know, things like that. This is a picture of David paying off one of the kids. Okay. And this is right around the corner from where Celeste lives. This picture was taken secretly by another kid. Now, this right here says, we examined this photo, which shows David interacting with another man who was holding a bag. Based on Google Maps, David was in LA Lake Elsinore, California, which is in Riverside County, 70 miles from downtown Los Angeles. According to Google Maps, David was standing 0.3 miles from the home where Celeste Rivas was living with her family before she disappeared back in April 2024. The place David was standing is a 6-minute walk to Celeste's home. Now, this right here is the same vehicle that Celeste was found in. The exact same vehicles. That's him getting out the vehicle and walking up to pay the kid. Supposedly he gave the kid $1,000. So the brother right there is admitting, yeah, and then he told the police, but police didn't do anything. You know, well, obviously they didn't do anything. We know this because Celeste went right back over there. And one of the charges David has right now is lying in wait and pretty much interfering with an investigation. And people are wondering, like, what is that charge really about? Well, now it makes a lot of sense because technically, when they found her at David's house, I guess that was never technically closed. Even though they didn't do much, it was technically not closed. So he was under investigation. Now, we don't know if Celeste at any point told police what was going on or she didn't.
Because I'll freak out.
Are you still dating that minor?
Ryan, is it Whitaker?
If it's fucking boy, I'll be
Because I'll freak out.
Are you still dating that minor?
So not just the producer, a lot of people knew about Celeste. Now, I told you guys before, I spoke with a parent of one of the alleged victims, okay? The victim never went to David's house. You know where the victim went to? Another condo that David was actually renting out. See, David wasn't just at the house, he also was at a condo too, all right? So David was going back and forth between the house and the condo. The alleged victim that I spoke to was actually at the condo. At the same time, Celeste was going to David's house. So David had both of these girls, okay, underage at both of these locations. Now, the victim I spoke to, they even said that there was another girl who used to come in and out of that condo too, all right? Now, the victim didn't really know Celeste. She knew of her, but didn't know her. I asked her, like, did you spoke to her or whatever, things like that. Now, she said she's seen her in passing to say hi, but they never really spoke, okay? So she couldn't tell you exactly like how she was, who she was or anything, but she has seen her. She didn't even know how old she was until they found her in the frunk. And then she was like, oh my God. Now, some of these victims are coming out now, okay? Some of these people were getting paid or being threatened. One of the two or a combination of both. So a lot of them were scared to say anything. Now, while David's in jail, there's people coming forward and saying things, which I applaud them, all right?
Is that the mother just said that she had a boyfriend named David. That's like the only statement from the family that I've ever heard that is verified from them. So my question was going to be like, do you think the family is as quiet as they are because they knew who David was and they knew who she was going to, and you don't really see too much of an intervention between them?
Yep. I mean, yes. I have proof that family members have been to that rental house before. I've been with David and Celeste.
Wait, her family has been to his house?
Family members. Like listen, one of the first things I put down in this case was we know that David and Celeste were at Six Flags on a certain date, and we found a Build-A-Bear certificate from the Build-A-Bear place in Six Flags in her cousin's name at the house. You know, so it's like, wait a minute. So she wasn't really.
That's out there is that.
Now, if this goes to trial, the parents probably will get exposed. Now, I'm not saying prosecution's going to expose them, but the defense might expose the parents. So David's lawyers might expose the parents. Okay. Now, should the parents be held accountable for what happened to Celeste? She was picked up at the house by police. Should law be held accountable for what happened to Celeste? Should David have been arrested a long time ago when they found her at the house? Ask yourself this question. You're at your house, and if you're hanging out with a minor and police knock at your door looking for a missing minor, do you think you're going to jail? What do you think? You think you're going to go to jail? I asked myself that question. Oh, they're taking me right there. Of course, I'm going to jail. Then another question for you. If you're a parent and your missing runaway was at an adult man's house, because David now is 21 years old, but at that time when Celeste was 13, David was probably around 19, 20 years old. He's still grown and she's only 13. Okay, just turned 13. Now, I've already exposed that David first started talking to her when she was 11. 11 years old on Fortnite is when they first start talking. Then there's evidence that he met her when she was 12, guys, 12. You are just getting out of elementary school, okay? He's 17, about to be 18 years old. There's no way a 17, 18-year-old should be talking to an 11, 12-year-old. I have a daughter. Let some 18-year-old man be talking to her. He won't be talking much longer. And what makes this sick is you have people out there. And I get him. You'll see him in my comment video. You'll see him in my comments on David. You will see them every once in a while where people were rooting for this relationship. Sick. It makes me think that you're disturbed. A 12-year-old and a person who should be graduated from high school. First of all, what do you have in common? That's one. That's sick. And then when you have 21 years old and she's 13. Yeah, so if your daughter and you found out police brought her home and the police was like, yeah, she was hanging with this guy. I don't care if he's a famous singer. Are you trying to press charges? Or are you like, oh, well, everything's cool. Go back to school tomorrow. You let me know what you're doing. Let me know. But yeah, do you think other people need to be held accountable? So if David's going down, should any other adult go down as well? Now we know Celeste's brother knew about it, but Celeste's brother is a minor himself. He's a kid. He did say he tried to say something, but they didn't listen to him. That's what he said. We don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he said, right? The mother knew, oh, she apparently is dating a David, and she came back with a tattoo on her finger. 13 years old. You don't check to see who this tattoo's with? Come on. You don't try and press charges on the individual that had your missing daughter at his house? I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think? Like I told you, I'm going to keep following this case. I've been on this case from day one, so I'm not stopping now. Please comment below. What do you think? Comment where you're also watching from. Country, city, state. I try to interact with everybody that I can. Please watch out for your surroundings. Look at your surroundings. Take care of one another. Until next time, this is Fugitive TV. I'm out.